1989, has more than 25 years of experience in the industry across various industries. He has held senior positions in finance, in manufacturing and software companies. He has 6 years experience in the practice and is a partner with Mrs. K.P. Rao and Company Chartered Accountants. He has authored books on IFRS, Ind AS, key audit matters, and other related topics. He has addressed at various conferences in India and abroad on accounting standards, IFRS, Sarbanes-Oxley, and GST, and is a regular faculty member with the Institute of Chartered Accountants. And also the registered value of programs. His articles appear frequently in Hindu, Business Line, Deccan Herald, and Bombay Chartered Accountants journals. I request Rejo to escort all the speakers to the dais.
Well, audit quality, we are into big news actually. There are issues with quality standard, whether quality standard is part of an auditing standard, and there is the regulator saying that they want to implement one of the auditing standard to improve the audit quality, okay? And so there is quite a bit of action in respect of audit quality in the recent time, and it's a topic which is being focused upon quite a bit than what it used to be in the past early days. Okay, and it's rightly so, it's good, because at the end of the day, it is very typical. If you have a product, the product's quality of a product can be easily demonstrated by a physical means. Okay, either this contains this contains that, or it's tasty and all those things. But when it comes to a service, the quality of a service to determine, it's quite difficult, okay? And especially something like an audit service is a bit difficult to do, because at the end of the day, suppose I do, say, as a professional chartered accountant, you do some service, some study or something, you come out with a report or a due diligence, you come out with a fact-finding thing. So those things are all very clear. The amount of work you do, what is the output you have generated will demonstrate the quality. Whereas here, your audit report itself is clearly documented as this is how it should be. If it is not qualified, if it is not modified, the audit report is ditto exactly almost the same in all the companies. So with that kind of an output, to determine what was the quality of your service of audit is quite a bit difficult. It is to be demonstrated. It is to be demonstrated. It's not visible outside. It's not, the quality is not visible, I think. What is the work, like somebody said, what do you do in an audit, okay? It's just not the tick in the box approach. Okay, there is a lot of effort which goes into it. And ironically, auditors are the one who are notorious to put in late hours. The amount of work which as auditors which we put in, any kind of, I'm sure any firm which is there, is I don't think anyone else can do it. Because there is, in the market, if you go to the job market, they say don't join an audit. Don't join audit. Okay, you will not have a social life, you cannot have a spare life and all. So that's the amount of work as a chartered accountant in an audit puts in across for audit quality. But at the same time, we don't seem to get that kind of a feedback on audit quality. Still, if there is something has gone wrong, that has been treated as if the entire audit quality is under pressure, okay? So, and we have now a new regulator, and fortunately or otherwise, he still, he has not found out in a single auditor being acceptable for almost now 3-4 years, continuously is being doing it. Well, he had put a good word recently saying that yes, it is improving what we did it 4 years back, okay? There are things which are there, the way they are looking at the standard and the quality, and then it is there. But generally, we know as a profession what is the quality which was there 10 years and what is the quality which you are doing, what is the drive which we are looking at. And we know it's not there. We are not perfect. It's not 100% there, okay? Just to give an example, like I just spoke, we have our own report like QRB report, which gives about a sample of 35 audits or firms, not just audit, it's firms which have been reviewed. And it says 10% is acceptable, 10% only is acceptable, 60% is, there are improvements, so another 10% is significant improvement, means they are not in compliance. So assuming that this is what is fair, I would say it is in the, most of them are smaller firms, medium firms, okay? It's not only large firms. So there is the report is very detailed, what kind of firms, what is the sample they selected, and what are the things which are there, okay? So that's a sample which they acceptable. So we presume this is what is the status, okay? Now where we are, okay? Now I'll just start with the thing there. We have started, okay? We have started. Audit quality is just not a destination, it's a continuous journey. You can't just reach saying that, I have reached the standard and then say that. You have to maintain that standard throughout, okay? All the audits in each years come, just because in 1 year you have done a proper audit doesn't mean the next year you will be there. You have to continuously keep the standard, you have to keep the quality. Now, what is the things, I'll just check with, I'll start with Mohan. What is the thing you feel that we have done in the past 5 years to improve the audit quality? What are the areas where we feel that we have improved as a profession?
Thank you, sir. So, yeah, if you look at it from independent perspective, and I'm saying independent, I'm not including SEBI, NAFRA, or any one of these people, or any one of those reports. And I think what has basically happened is that we have improved a lot on documentation. Though still a lot still remains to be done. I think that auditors have been sensitized to the fact that documentation is the key to I never thought we'll use these words some time back, but the time has come now where we have to defend our audit. And the only way we can defend our audit is through our documentation. So the documentation has certainly improved. I am not saying that it is completely there. There are still a lot of gaps in terms of documentation. But I would think, sir, that definitely the one area wherein I really find an improvement, at least amongst the small and medium practitioners, is the fact that they are documenting at least the significant portions of this thing here. Now, the other thing which has happened, and of course, Sundaresan sir has also been speaking about NAFRA, and Mangala also sort of averred to NAFRA when she spoke about the question of fraud, is that I think NAFRA is coming from a very different perspective. So I think we should not include NAFRA in the part of this thing here. But what NAFRA has done, whether they like it or not, is the fact that it has sensitized the profession to the fact that there is a regulator there who's probably looking at you. I was very surprised, maybe a couple of months back, I got a call from a chartered accountant in Hosur, practicing in her individual name or a partnership firm, whatever it was. And she was asking some sort of a doubt about intercompany loans and advances and all those things. And so I told her, yeah, this is what it is, you'll have to document it in this manner and all those things. And I asked her, why are you worried about this? She told me, suppose NAFRA comes. So I told her the chances of NAFRA coming to your firm in Hosur, slightly remote at present. But what I appreciate was the fact that at least she's been sensitized to the fact that this documentation has to happen and she's got to record this. That I think I'll give it to the regulator. She has created a sense of, a caution, I won't say fear, a sense of caution that we've got to document these transactions properly. I think where we are probably also looking at, sir, is, and Sundaresan sir spoke about the fees. It's also, I think he's not here, but Pramod's very favorite topic. He said that if we do not, get the appropriate level of fees, we should probably walk away from the assignment. I have seen this happening in a few cases. Again, here, it's not that, it's happening across the board, but in a lot of cases, especially over the last 5 years, I've seen auditors saying that the fees is too low. See, basically what is happening, the risk-reward relationship is extremely skewed towards the risk only, not towards the reward. It's a fact. So if the audit is, if the auditee is only going to be a small company having some normal transactions, the audit fees is very, very low. I've seen many firms saying that, thank you very much, we will not be able to. So these two areas, I would definitely like to call out and say that improvement has happened over the last 5 years.
Mangala, would you like to add?
Yes, thank you. I think I sort of echo your thoughts on whatever you've said. Also, this is very true. What we've seen and what we've done as a firm also is that if somebody approaches us saying, I have 30 companies, can you do all of these audits? The fee is going to be 10,000. So we say, thank you so much. Because the amount of work that is involved in, even understanding that business, its entity, environment, thinking of the risks and all of that. So this is the good part that has happened. Maybe a few years ago, we would have said, okay. But today, it's not like that. We know the effort that has to go in, or rather, we have now, we are more, I think the word you used was right. We are sensitized to the effort that needs to go into an audit, which itself helps us improve audit quality to some extent. So audit quality is also, I think, to do with, are we tagging the right level of people based on the kind of industry or based on the kind of complications, complexities. So, for example, even when we are talking amongst colleagues, we sometimes say, oh, this, somebody from, relating to something being supplied to an airline has approached me, but I have no idea of that industry. How do we do it? So in the morning session also, people were speaking about, then we collaborate. So in the past, it was looked at as, if I go to another person, maybe he'll go and pick up the audit. Today, that is not reality. Today, we are all focused more on audit quality. Hence, we check across, various audit firms. We've all, I think we've crossed one level, at least in a lot of small and medium-sized firms. We have crossed one level to say, now documentation, like sir said, is so important. There are a lot of people today approaching other firms to say, what documentation tool do you use? Does it have good checklists? Does it help me identify risks? Does it help me, not a ticking-based thing, but does it give me the right questions so that I am led to identify the risks correctly? So I think, yes, documentation is on the improvement path, and like you rightly said, much more to do. Focus on the auditing standards, which possibly was not very keen in the past, is being seen. We are not only documenting what we did, we are also documenting why we did not do something which we did not do. I think sir also touched upon it earlier today. So I think this is true. Audit quality is on the path to something better, but more to be done.
One of the challenges which anything to do with the service is people who are involved. Audit is not just done by automated thing. It is getting automated. I'll just speak about in the end what's happening in the audit field, and what I foresee in the next 5-10 years. But at the end of the, as of today or any time, the people involved is very crucial for any audit quality. Mohan, do you think we are getting the people? It's always a challenge. Are we getting the people to do the audit? And what are the challenges which you are people in the people front kind of thing? Fees is one thing. This next one is people, actually.
No, I'll leave the fees apart, I think. Unfortunately, I don't think I can answer that with a great deal of confidence, because I mean, the general trend has been that the quality of people coming now to the profession has definitely been on the lower side. Yes, we know that we can train them. We do a lot of training sessions in our office also. I'm sure that our firms have also done a lot of training sessions. But I can do a number of training sessions. How is a training session being received? I think that is what is a challenge we are facing right now. And I've personally experienced this, where in many audits, prior to the audit, I told a particular, we did a particular training session because there was an acquisition which was made. So I did a specific training session only on 103, which is an Ind AS thing. So I did a specific training session only on 103, on the acquisition method of accounting, and sent these people for audit, assuming that they will know exactly what is to be done. And I told them, you'll have to ask for the share purchase agreement, search for the share purchase agreement. This person is searching for the share purchase agreement in the acquisition agreement itself. Not in the, he's searching for this in the acquisition, in the standard, not in the, he's not asking the client for this. He's saying, where is share purchase agreement in the standard? It's not there at all. So I really feel that, as Sundaresan sir was also saying, I think it is not partner level, it's not manager level. I think it's the guy who's doing what Mangala said, ticking it. I think that guy has to be really knowing about all these auditing standards. Again, need not know all the 46 standards. What is applicable to the audit, if they apply 100%, I will be more than happy. I'll be more than happy in terms of that. I think Institute has also been doing their courses. They've been doing training programs with Article Lux and all those things. I don't know whether this 2-year thing is a good thing or a bad thing. There are, I can make out from Kavita's reaction that it is not a good thing. Because what has happened is that that 1 year has actually been taken away from us. On the one hand, we've got a people who are, this type, and the second time they were losing out on gap here. I think we need to collectively tackle this problem because, unfortunately, if the number of people coming to the profession is lesser and of a lower quality, I think we have a serious problem as far as audit quality is concerned.
Mangala, what's your experience now?
Experience has been partly similar, but also something very interesting to share. So recently, when we said all of us spend a lot of time on accounting standards, but we are not spending enough time on auditing standards, we took it upon ourselves to challenge our audit team. What we told them is, no partner, no manager will do a training session. Who will do the training session? The articles. So we said, what you're supposed to do is pick up the standard, read it thoroughly. 5 of you read it as a team but individually. Come back and discuss what you felt, what is the crux, what do you have to do, what are we doing right already, what have we not done till now, or what should we be doing better as audit practitioners. So, and then we said to make it more interesting, because they will present this to other articles. They will also present it to managers who are qualified. They'll present it to the partners. So we said to make this more interesting for yourselves and for everybody, because like everybody said earlier, if you do a session on the auditing standards, probably, I think sir said it's a good lullaby or something, we'll all fall asleep. So tranquilizer, yeah. So then we said, if we don't want it happening that way and we want to carry home the essence of it, then y'all should have enactment. So enact a case where the auditor is doing something right, enact a case where the auditor is doing something wrong, and somebody comes and corrects them. It could be that, the article made a mistake, or the partner made a mistake and the EQCR pointed out and said, hey, looks like you haven't looked at it, whatever it was. So we made them enact. In fact, those sessions are on. We are having one every week. And we said, however, before that is presented to the larger crowd, it should be first presented to at least 2 partners, so that, and 2 managers, so that they can give their inputs to it. What did they really feel about it? Is there something we need to focus more? This is actually turning things. Rather, some of the partners have come and told me, hey, what are you doing in audit? All the articles in my team in tax are saying now they want to do audit for a short time. I thought that was an interesting start. It is not a pat on the back. There is much to be done. But if we want to up audit quality, which is what the focus really is today, the only way is to involve the younger crowd, so that if they are interested in audit and if they learn it young, then there is a chance that they will become practitioners in the future. Even if they were to go out to the industry, they may end up challenging the auditor to ensure that the audit quality is brought up to a level which is required. Because there are enough people in industry who do challenge us and who say, look, our prior auditors used to ask for this, why did you not? So I think audit quality, therefore, is, I would feel, when it is improving, it is also because the fraternity is probably improving a little. So you are right, sir. I have had these problems. When 10 people come for an interview, you are still finding that to even shortlist one is a problem. And if he is shortlistable or if she is shortlistable, then the ask is so high that I will need to think of many more audits with many X fees to try and hire somebody like that. So that is a real challenge, which is why, but if we want to start at the lower end of the spectrum, the only way is, like you said, to train better.
It's always a challenge. I've been there almost now 4 decades. I think this particular problem, I don't think it is ever, it was never not a problem, okay? So it was there when I started, those days, 86 and all those things, and it was always continued with us. Some in between, when you start paying more and the industry is a bit weak, you get good people coming in. And those days, people used to join bigger firms to get knowledge, okay? The articleship experience was not good, but that's not happening nowadays, okay? So you need to, it's a challenge. You need to get the people, may not be the top class or something like that. I don't think, you get a people who are appropriate. And I think the catch which is there is to retain the people is slightly longer. So he was telling about training. So the firm which we come across, we realized that we are wasting a lot of time in training people who don't stay beyond a particular period of time. When you put the graph, the average age of a person may be there 2 years, maximum 3 years, something like that. So we found out that the HR came out and said, look, your focus should be to retain the people instead of, say, average is, say, 2 years, you make it to 2.5, 3 years. So you gain a lot of things. And that's, I think, is a way forward to retain people and train the people so that your quality is maintained. Whatever you do, the people are key. Whatever is kind of thing, you are using technology and everything, but at the end of the day, it's a people-related service. People are rendering the service, and their quality is dependent on the people. Now, Mangala, what is the thing which you feel what are the areas which you feel that we need to improve? There is there is a long way to go.
Very critical question that is staring all of us in the face. Many of us know the answers, and we are a little worried about them. So one is, so if you say, what do we need to do better? Definitely, documentation was discussed. We have all been through peer reviews and all that, where we do find that the peer reviewer still has some points. I'm not sure what NAFRA would say, I'm too worried, but I'm sure, I mean, there are improvement points, but even peer reviewers sometimes come up with points on, yes, you have addressed the matter, but it is not completely and well documented. The file is not speaking for itself. It is not able to conclude why you said this was true and fair, or why you said something needed an emphasis of matter or a qualification. So I think documentation is a must. We spoke about training, that is important. Third is, sir, training not only at the level of junior staff, even at the higher levels. I mean, as a partner, if we have to accept certain engagements, we need to know better on that industry, like I said earlier. So how we do that is, again, a little bit of collaboration. To some extent, the institute helps because some of the specifics that are done, maybe it's about NBFCs or it's about some specific banking audit and all, that helps. But collaboration is much more required, would be what I would want to say. And there was another point that was spoken in the morning about IT audits. I think today with, it is becoming very, very important that IT audits are done, rather we identify the risks where IT auditor could play an important role to unearth what issues could be there. That will help us safeguard and ensure that all the risks of material misstatements are being addressed correctly.
Mohan, one of the things which I was showing to you on QRB report, I was shocked. 100%, you saw something on SA 300, okay? So what do you think in QRB report, how many people who have not followed the SA 300? Can you guess? You won't believe. Just go and see the report. 100%. 100% of the cases which they have reviewed, the response to the assessed risk has not been done properly. Okay, material misstatement and the response to material misstatement in 100% of the cases in a smaller firm, some 85% in some medium firm, again 100% in the other firms, more or less. So you can call it almost 100%. The material misstatement, risk of material misstatement, which over a period, even in my own experience, it was something which is a bit, it's not actually very difficult. This is something which practically people were not able to realize. How do you identify the risk of material misstatement and respond to the risk of material misstatement? Response basically is a testing which you will do. Okay, okay. So that is an area which seemed to be that it's not improved. What kind of a thing you feel that should be done that in those areas which need to, which will improve? Because there is a big gap.
In the QRB things.
Yeah, in the QRB, it is no, it's just not in the QRB. Generally, it's a sample, it's a correct sample. Generally, this is an issue. Generally, there is an issue. I can tell from my own experience, to document that it's a big problem. And QRB is a correct sample. People are not able to do that properly, and that's a key part of the audit, as I was mentioning, key part of the auditing standard. If you have not identified the risk of material misstatement and respond to it, practically you have not done the audit. Okay, that's what is the thing there. Okay, now what is the thing which could be done to improve in those areas? There is an issue. There is a big challenge there.
Yes, sir. So I think very rightly put by Sundaresan, sir, because this is an area wherein lot of things can actually improve. A lot of things can actually improve in this particular thing. But I'm also going to answer his previous question in this response itself. And I think I'm going to start at the basic level itself, wherein even before you accept an audit, the tests of independence, all of these things, today I think we are taking it for granted. And I think that should not be the case. We should not be taking it for granted. I've always maintained this. One of the biggest risks for us as small, medium, slightly large firms is this threat of familiarity. In the entire code of ethics, what is the biggest threat for us is the threat of familiarity. We assume we know the client very well. The client assumes he knows the auditor very, very well. Doesn't matter where you're located. But if, as per what Mr. Sundaresan is saying is about, and that number he has just shown me, so that number is 100% accurate. That 100% on ROMM in these firms, it's really something to really worry about. So I'm going to start with that. When you're accepting the assignment itself, is there a threat of familiarity? Is there a threat to your independence? And when I'm talking about the firm, I'm not talking only about the partner, I'm talking all across the line. All across the line I'm talking about. And I have a colleague of mine, a friend of mine who's doing an audit of a listed company. And he was saying that I take all my documentation during the course of audit itself. I don't see, because it was one of the few listed companies he was doing. And I think this company is located in Hosur or somewhere. And so he suddenly called me up one day and said that there's a problem because one of the article clerks who was gone for the audit reached Hosur tonight, he's invested in shares of that company. He's invested in shares of that particular company. I said, he asked me, what do? I told him, you can't do anything. The article clerk has to sell the shares. That's the only thing. And maybe take him away from the audit. Take him away from the audit because for whatever reason, good, bad, or ugly, he should not be a part of the audit. I think this question of improving quality, sir, will have to start from there. All the rest will flow. Documentation will flow. As Mangala was saying, yeah, we'll have a lot of improvement in documentation. See, what we did, I'll just tell you this because this QRB came up for this thing. Though it's about our firm, I have no shame in telling this. We had a QRB recently done 3 months back. We prepped very well for that. We knew what he's taking as a sample. Okay, listed company, banks, private limited companies, insurance company. We prepped ourselves completely. We actually did 1 month of prepping. And we thought that if the peer review, as the QRB person comes, he's chosen one file, he was given another file also. The other file we were not prepared for. We were not prepared for I'm talking about the peer review, sorry, not about the QRB, the peer reviewer. We were not prepared for the other file, which is a private limited company. So when he asked for the documentation, the article like, sir, shall I give the document? I said, okay, give the file, no problem. I was assuming that everything is fine there. And so I thought maybe there'll be a few documentation, improvements he'll suggest and all those things. So as we were leaving for that day, he said, I'm leaving for today, but I've got a small suggestion, sir, he said. I asked him what happened. He said, that last file you gave me, that private limited company, there are 8 trial balances in the file. I want only 1 trial balance. And I want the final trial balance. So we thought, oh my God, okay, what is happening here? So I called the article clerk and said, why, what is this happening? And her response was, sir, I asked the client, which means she does not know what is the final trial balance. So I said, if you ask the client, he's going to give you a 9th trial balance now, which is going to add to the complication. So you're not going to actually solve the problem, actually complicating the problem here. So the reason why I said this is because had we taken, though we were doing a little bit of firefighting in that case, this QRB and whatever Sundaresan said as being, it's, as he said, before the audit, during the audit, after the audit. See, the 230 gives you 90 days to actually complete your documentation. You ask me, 90 days is too much. Because the moment the audit is closed, the client forgets about you. It's only next year. He is not going to give you any documentation. To a certain extent, we can probably go with him because he's born with you for the last 2-3 months. I can probably understand that. But still, all your documentation is preferably completed during the course of audit, save for a few things here and there. I would also like to point out, sir, in this that though we are talking about ourselves as a firm, there is a certain responsibility from the client side also. I think they also have to be sensitized that, look, we need to get this documentation. There are things in place like this. So you'll have to give us the necessary documentation or whatever procedures we have to do there. In one QRB, we had the situation wherein authorized share capital was wrong. Clearly, authorized share capital was wrong. He showed me a ROC report saying that authorized share capital is this much, whereas our financials say this much. So we called up the client and told him that your authorized share capital is wrong, so please change it. He's saying, no, ROC is wrong, he's saying. He is challenging even the authorized share capital which is there in the printed records there. So clients will have to also be told that, as sir was saying, I remember what the previous past president of the ICA was saying. He said audit is a serious business. People need to take it seriously. It is a serious business. It's not just checklist-based audit. It is a serious business. We need to take it seriously. Clients also need to take it seriously. As he was saying, audit is not even a cost. They just think it's a compliance. They just think it's a compliance. Many of the clients still think that it's only a compliance. We have to get an audit done as per Companies Act. Therefore, we will get it done. And if he says if NAFRA removes audit for below 250 crores companies, I think we'll all have to start only doing GST practice, I think. So I think it's both ways. It works both ways. We'll have to do it from start to end. The entire supply chain of audit will have to improve. And more importantly, I'll probably put more emphasis on that, sir. Clients have to be told that this is a serious thing. You need to take it seriously.
I think that's, I was telling you, it's not a one-way traffic, it's a two-way traffic. And in fact, we were discussing more than this, actually, client has to give. Like in evolved economies or what are advanced economies like Western Europe or US, the amount of things which you get from the clients prepared, you are given a complete file of the financial statement and all the supportings, how they've arrived at all the things which are in a sort of, before even you start the audit, it's been given. And Mangala was raising this point. It's like this, your audit quality is also dependent on the quality of the financial statement which are prepared, okay? Now, Mangala, what we should do that, I don't think most of the companies, there is a challenge, even in the big companies, India is, fortunately, it's good for economy, we are growing at a fast pace, but it is unfortunate for us as a financial auditors, the financial and other systems don't keep pace with their growth. The growth happens first and the systems follow later. So what happens in this thing, there is always a gap between this. It results in the financial statement preparations. You don't get what you require for audit. And that puts much more onus on pressure on you as an auditor, and it affects the quality. It definitely affects the quality, even though we cannot say anything in the auditing standard, but auditing standard will just say this. But this affects the quality, how I do it, because the information which I have to get, it's incomplete. A very simple thing we were talking about, whether we have got all the information before we sign the financial statement. That's what being discussed and all. Mangala, what do you think we should do as a profession to improve the quality of the financial statement from the client side so that our work can do what we are supposed to do rather than trying to rectify their mistakes in the financial statements?
So typically, to put it in a very, very simple manner, I was just discussing with somebody a while ago. So, you know, some of us who have gone for, say, blood tests, and let's say some parameter is a little out of what it should be. Okay, what the doctor tells us is, so go back, do A, B, and C. It may be medication, exercise, diet, control, whatever it is. So do all of this, come back after 1 month, we'll do the tests again and see where you have reached. So now, if I were to say the auditor is in that, you know, role like the doctor, okay, so what we need to go back and do, which we do in a few clients wherever it's possible and receptive. I know we have other challenges where they are very small, but otherwise, what we do is go back after the first audit, because normally, if we've been appointed for the first time, we may not know everything about the client. It takes some time to get familiar. But after that is done, we go back to the, to the management, at times, you know, even to the board we may sit down with, and give them the pitfalls during the audit. What were the problems? What did we not get in time? So although we follow, an initial requirements list or a requirements details to be provided by the client, many a times neither the client nor we are tracking when we asked for it, when it was received, did we get enough time to work on it. So if, typical case, we discussed even earlier, 30th September it has to be signed off, but then 20th September is when we are getting the information, it's not even adequate. So how do we do that? So I think the only way is, we've been successful in doing it, is to go back and educate the client that these are the reasons why it is taking longer. And when they don't understand it, the easiest way to convince them is, this meant I had a 30% overrun on my fee. So I am not able to do this audit unless A, B, C, D, E is given to me at the beginning of the audit. Something is given during the audit. Your people spend enough time with our people. And most importantly, sir, you asked a question saying, when there is a lot of growth, so their numbers have grown. Now everybody is looking at the finance team and the auditor many a times as a cost. Right? But that is like saying, I want to earn more and more, I will eat more and more, not exercise, and then I will fall sick. So that will not work, right? So the only way to do it is to sensitize those at, those at the helm of affairs, that there are certain things that as auditors we are required to do. I think Sir Mohan Lavi sir also said it, that to sensitize them that this is being done, not because we need to tick the box somewhere, but because we need to establish that the opinion that we are giving you is genuinely true and fair, and if it is not, we have a good reason to state why it is not. So I think sensitizing the client is going to be the most important thing.
That's very much important. If you have, in fact, me and my senior, we had a breakfast yesterday. So when we used to take up the client, we used to actually evaluate the quality of the client on one factor. So we used to ask, can I just sign this statement without doing anything? Did you get it? Can I sign that financial statement without doing an audit? Can I have that kind of a confidence? If I can do that, that's the greatest quality, level of quality. You won't believe, we had many clients like that. We had many clients like that. In fact, I still remember when I joined about 35 years back in Bombay, there used to be a client in Bangalore and we used to audit it from Bombay. So the client used to put a challenge to the audit team. If you find out one mistake, I will give you this. When you find 2 mistakes, this. So you have to take them to treat if you can find mistakes in their financial statement. That's a pride which the guys which you in charge of finance used to take in their statements, in preparing their statements. It was a multinational, okay? So that is the kind of level of quality which we need from the financial statement preparation. And like what they say, it is not a cost actually. Like I have always been educating the client, saying that you can grow faster, okay? But you can lose more money faster if your systems are not in place. So frauds and other things, you may lose because of fraud, you may lose quoting a wrong rate, you may lose various things which are much more, okay, than not having a system properly, okay? So the cost in having the system may be there, but the cost of not having the system is humongous. You don't know what you will lose, okay? So we need to educate the client on a consistent basis, because if the client can give us data which is very reliable and other things, our work gets restricted to that extent. Our exposure and risk is reduced to that extent, okay? That's very much important. Like things on documentation, we have improved on documentation. In fact, the thing which I always used to tell, the first lesson when I joined an audit firm in Bombay long back, 1986, so I was given an old manual, not even in 86, it must have been prepared 5 decades ago. So it used to contain a lot of loose pages. One thing which was repeated in that, work not documented is work not done. If you have not documented the work, it is not done. Imagine that is what is the NFRA is saying today. If you have not documented, how do you expect me to conclude that you have done the work? Well, I will add now, work not done needs to be more documented. If you have not doing the work, you should document why you are not done. So there is an additional documentation which is needed, which you have learned over these years. They say why you have not done the work. So that also need to be documented. Okay, documentation is a journey which is always important. Everything needs to be documented. Okay, people, documentation, the risk assessment part. The risk assessment part is it is not a very difficult thing. You know, I learned from one of the reviews which I have done personally with others, and over a period we also learned in our firm. You just ask a simple question in any area when you go there, what can go wrong? Just a simple question. Suppose you've got a fixed assets, what can go wrong in fixed assets? Document what can go wrong and assess those, that is the risks. What can go wrong is the risk. Is it a material, it can cause a material misstatement? Then document it as a material misstatement. What can go wrong in debtors? Or what can go wrong? For instance, something like sales. Internationally, frauds are committed in sales. So there is no need to do anything. It is considered to be a risk of material misstatement. It's there in the standard now. Okay, that is there. Another aspect which is there in the standard is management risk of override. Because there is no way management risk of override will not be there. It is a risk. Management can override any systems. So that risk is to be addressed. Addressing that risk is not easy, man. Okay, we have been doing it in the past almost a decade. Every year we used to learn. They used to say do this, they used to say do that, and then we used to find out a lot of things. Our analytics is being done these days to find out what kind of a thing which is done. For instance, what are the last entries which are made, the last date. You check 100%, all the journal entries which you have made 100%, or take a list of the entries which are made in holidays, unusual entries, entries which are in holidays, which are in this way, which are normally has to be debited, why is it credited? So all kinds of analytics is being done these days to identify risk of management override exists or not. So journal entry testing is internationally has become a tool to identify management override of controls. Well, in India, we have committed not journal entry, we have even created sales and other stuff also. So that is one of the things. The other thing which is, I would say, which is a fundamental things of looking at the management override is to understand the business. So that is, we are not doing it. Not only we understand the business, the whole team has to understand the business to appreciate what can they do wrong. What can they do, mess up with that thing? Can they, if there are incentives, can they dodge on the incentives? Can they do bogus sale or something which is done next year is being done here? If there is a percentage of completion, can they play around with that? There are so many things which could be there, but to do that, you need to understand the business, okay? So for instance, towards the end, we have a big audit. Now, one of the things when I took up a new audit was, I told the management, I said, look, I need to meet the head of the businesses every time. So first thing which we used to do before starting the audit, much earlier itself, okay, December or something like that, I used to go and meet personally as a partner in charge, the head of the business, each business, to understand their business, not just accounting. So they used to tell me, none of your previous auditors did that. We have that, you're a company which is now 80 years. Before that, nobody, no, people used to do. My senior who was there at that time used to do. I said, no, I have to understand. Unless we understand the business, how can I do an audit? How can I do what fraud you can commit? Or anybody can commit. So areas like this, understanding the business, is actually a way to attract people, to make audit very interesting. If you ask me, in 4 decades, okay, of my audit career, what is the thing I learned is this. I know so many businesses in and out. Now, after the retirement, I sit and do investments. So I can tell you, it's great that knowledge of the industry is helping me in a thing. If my advisor will come and tell something, I used to say, no, you're wrong. You're wrong. Okay? So this is what will happen in the industry next 5 years. So the knowledge of the business is very important. Now, I just towards the end, the thing which, what is the way forward, what is going to happen in the thing, the quality now, one of the things is that India is in the right direction in the quality, okay? Now, we have no choice on NFRA. NFRA is there as a listed entity. The non-listed entities are looked at by the institute. Okay. Now, one of the things which are not even in the standards, okay, which is affecting, which will affect, is the use of technology. Okay. Now, we were talking about, I think in the morning you had sections on the IT audit. Now, IT audit and all is only one part of it. Okay. Now I am talking about what is the use of technology in audit itself. How do you use technology within the audit? Okay, it's not a part of any standards, but I can see that it could improve the quality of the audit tremendously. Like about 7-8 years back, we had an internal meeting. Narayan Murthy was addressing us. So he said, my son is doing a research. He was doing the research and thing. He has concluded in the next 10 years, whatever could be automated will be automated, and those people will lose jobs or it will come down drastically. And he said, I can tell you, one of them is your audit, audit business, because audit is things which are systematically done, entries are done, okay? It could be automated, the whole audit could be automated. So, automation could be used in audit itself, okay? So, what do you think, Mangala, will IT as use of IT in audit, not IT audit? Yeah, will improve the audit quality. What could be, what are the areas which you think it is?
So as far as the use of IT in audit is concerned, I think it is now imperative that more and more technology is used as a part of our audits. Reasons are very simple. We ourselves discussed. We cannot have, I mean, as businesses grow, we cannot have more and more people doing the same audit. It is not that today it's a 100 crore company, so we have, say, 3 people doing the audit. Tomorrow it will be 200 crore, so we will multiply it and say 6 people. Neither the fees will support, that is secondary. Even the efforts, multiplying like that will not really help us achieve anything. So if there is no technology, and tools to handle some of those requirements, be it, again, the transactions will start becoming more and more complex. Today, people may have simpler transactions. As they grow, the transactions are very complicated. There are multiple systems that they are using just to run their businesses. Forget the accounting, which is another tool. But just to run their businesses, there are multiple tools that they're using. So without the use of technology in testing all of those, there is no way that we will be able to move forward as the companies grow and India goes to the next level. This is my thought on it.
Yeah, I think it's not being there in any auditing standard. In fact, some of the restricted use of IT is because it is not there in the auditing standard. For instance, I retired 4 years back, but even those, before that itself, I used to do a lot of IT thing, especially in financial sector. Okay. Now, just to give you a flavor of what kind of thing IT can do, is one of the things which is being used, it's being very buzzword, is analytics. So this analytics as a part of an audit can give you huge advantage. So analytics can pick up exceptions. Analytics can actually pick up the summary. You won't believe. I used to do an audit of a finance company, and I used to test their income, interest, 100%. 100%. Just take their thing. In India it is possible. My colleagues abroad, they used to tell, how can you do that? They won't give the data. But Indian guys are giving the data. So they asked me, what will you do? So I said, this is what I'm going to do. We will take your data. We will ensure confidentiality. We will put in our tool, and then we will check it. So they gave us, they said we will give, because they realized they are getting a value. They are getting a value, and they got an independent testing of what they are doing. You won't believe that company CFO used to ring me one day, once quarter she rang up, sir, we want to do your work first thing in the first week of next quarter. I said, what? Sir, you test the interest. No, you test the interest and tell me before I give the figures to the management. Because she had so much confidence in the testing which we were doing, and we tested it and we found out this is the thing and this is the reason why it got increased, and she was very happy. Okay? So just give another example. You are aware of KYC? Okay? Now this KYC is a huge thing in many industries, including our own. Okay? Our own industry KYC is being looked at. So this KYC in a bank, okay, I don't think any bank which has not been fined by RBI for non-fulfillment of KYC, any bank or telecom authorities, telecom companies, or there are many industries which has become because the KYC is mandatory under Money Laundering Act. So this Money Laundering Act makes KYC mandatory for various companies. So money laundering law is very, very strict. So when we were doing the audit, we were testing it. We had a tool. We had a tool to test the KYC done by the bank. Okay? So which we took the tool. First time it had a effort, and then repeat it was not very difficult. We took the data from the clients and gave them back. Where all, in fact, I also included in my long form audit report that report. The bank was fined because of that. But anyway, the bank took it very positively, and every time the audit committee chairman used to tell us, no, this time also do it. So we gave them the report saying what are the violation of KYC item by item. Okay, where they have taken on PAN, where the PAN numbers are wrong, where they have given loans to minors, where there is a PAN number which is not matching, individual PAN number to business, business PAN number to this. Like that, there are various factors which we gave and gave a report. And it's not small. It ran into 1.5 lakh accounts. Okay? So it is a very old bank. It's about 100-year plus old bank, and those days RBI was there. And they were very transparent with the RBI. They said, we are trying to do that, but they had a challenge. Everyone has got a challenge to fulfill that. But the client saw as a big value in that. So the audit committee chairman, after 6 months, they came and told us that it's all done. So he ran the same tool and gave back the report. So 50% done, 50% not done. So they are very thrilled to see why it creates a huge impact on the profession. We didn't go to any branch. We didn't go anywhere. We just took their data, analyzed the data, and gave it back to them. So what this can do, this IT analytics can do, is a humongous value of the things. Okay, you can test this thing, you can test the exceptions. If you want to select samples, you can test the samples based on the parameters which you are giving. Okay, for instance, if you want to test sales where goods have not gone out, you can take it. So these are all things which you can do without sweating a lot, and you can get a 100% result. Okay, so this way the audit is going to, it's going to be, and even the thing you can rerun the things the way it's on. Preparation of financial statement, you can have the thing and put the financial statement instead of verifying the statements. You can have your own financial statement prepared. So many things which you can do in IT, and especially what Mangala was telling, when the things are growing, your efforts will not grow so much. If they can grow 3 times, but our audit, nobody is going to increase our audit fee 3 times, okay? So it will help in making an efficient audit. I think in the next 10 years, I think about 70–80% of the audit, according to me, will be automated. Will be automated. I think as a professional chartered accountant, we need to have the expertise to use them. We may not be IT experts, but we need to tell the IT experts what we want. Okay? So you can do it in your own firm. It's not, this is not the Greek and Latin. You can catch hold of somebody and do the program, or now there are, my friends are actually looking at things which they are making an audit tool. They will all, people will make, these are all already available analytical tools, you can get it, and that can improve the quality of the audit. Okay. Now, the last point, in fact, we will subsume the topic which you were supposed to speak. Now, Mohan, what do you think the role of quality control in improving the quality, and where we stand and where we need to improve with the new standards and others?
Okay, I had 45 minutes, I'll do it in 4.5 minutes, exactly. So, yes, sir. So, basically, if you look at it from the point of view of the standard itself, we've got 2 things, basically SA 220, which is already there, done and dusted, published well known. It is talking about, it focuses on the engagement partner, what the engagement partner has to do. And there is a series of steps which has been mentioned in the standard. And I think we need not get into the technicalities of the standard per se. But if read with SQC 1, It sort of summarizes what we've been speaking for the last 45 minutes, right from the commencement of the audit up to documentation. It doesn't talk about, but all technology and all will be a sub-part of this. But what is more important and what is more interesting, sir, I'll just touch upon that, is this SQM2, which the Institute has brought out recently. It's optional from 1/4/25. We know what will happen to optional things in India. It is mandatory from 1/4/26. And here, very interestingly, Institute has said that, yes, quality control is there. We'll focus on the judgments made by the auditor. The SQM2 talks a lot about the judgments made by the auditor and how those judgments have been documented. All that is a part of the standard itself. And I think it's a very interesting change because just go back to one audit you have done on 31st March 24. Any audit, it can be a tax audit, it can be a GST audit is not there, but what have you done in GST? It can be a statutory audit. Just check in the audit file if you have documented what were the main challenges in the audit and how those conclusions have been reached. It can be a one-page document, it can be a half-page document. It may be there in many places, but I think this is some sort of a hygiene which we have to develop. We may have the trial balance. We may have 8 trial balances as our firm has got. But we may not have one page which summarizes that. We had an issue with revenue recognition. This is what was discussed, and this is how it has been concluded. It can be no issue also, because as Sundaresan sir said, we may have no issues in the audit also. That also has to be documented, and that also has to be documented. We cannot assume that just because I have not written it, there is no issue. That also will have to be documented. So I think this SQM1 and SQM2 also is a very interesting thing wherein we are focusing upon the judgments that are being made. And all of us in this room need to be very clear that the entire set of financial statements, right from trial balance till your Caro report, is full of judgments. The entire set is full of judgments. Now SQM2 is focusing a little bit more focus on those judgments. I think it is time we do a little bit of effort, extra effort, to ensure that these judgments are documented and kept on record so that, as I said, we'll be able to defend the audit at any point of time when it comes there. And of course, the Institute is saying that this is not an audit channel at all. That is okay, we're not talking about that. We're not going to that discussion at all. We'll stick to quality only. So, SQM1 will replace SQC1, and SQM2 is a new thing which is coming about, which will probably be a supplement to SA220. We do not know if SA220 is going to go away or not. The focus has changed. Here, they have given very clearly what the EQR also has to do. There are 7 steps which the engagement quality reviewer has to follow, including discussion with engagement partner, seeing all of those things, what are the differences of opinion, how those have been clarified, whether any monitoring has been done. See, when we read the standard, when we read SQM2, the first thing which will come to your mind is, can I do this in our firm? What is he talking about? Monitoring. He's talking about all those things. I've got 2 article clerks, one of which is always on leave. How can I do all this in my audit, in my firm? But the unfortunate part is, even with that one person, you may have to still do it to the extent possible, Because I think that is where we are trying to drive in terms of audit quality. There will be a definite learning curve. We will have to unlearn what we know in terms of audit quality in the past. This SQM2 will give us, by focusing on judgments read with SQM1, it will definitely give us a new learning curve in terms of how audit quality has to be done. And I can tell all of you all that it is just taking a little bit of extra effort to get this done, that's all. Whether the extra effort yields fees or not is something Sundaresan sir will solve. This is not for me to solve. Right? Thank you.
Thanks, Mohan. Actually, quality control is an essential part of quality itself. Because you go to any industry, anywhere, at the end of the day, there is a quality department. The quality department doesn't do anything. It do only quality checks. Okay? So similarly, the services rendered like an audit, the output is tested, that it is there. We have come a long way. I can tell you in the past 2 decades I have been doing this EQCR. We used to just sign off. 1 page, everything is done and all. From the 1 page, we went into a docket. Now that all which were going into the dockets, it has become a big docket. Okay? And everything is being there. And the amount of importance which was given to eQCR, which originally we used to be part of a part-time small work, okay? The amount of work is to be done and all. Then we found out a lot of challenges, because I can't have a quality control department, because they would not have got experience. So at the same time, the guy who is doing the audit, he has to do quality control. There is a time issue. So somehow we have to manage that, okay? And the importance which is given to the quality control can be tested, well, very ironically, in the punishments which are being given, okay? Now, what NFRA does now, the punishment given to the engagement partner and the quality control partner is exactly the same. So it's ironic way of looking at it. They are giving important, they feel that the quality control is as much important as the engagement partner itself. Because at the end of the day, he is the one is independent guy who is ensuring the quality. An engagement partner will have a lot of pressure. His time, the fees, the client pressure, the board pressure, all kinds of pressures will be working under the thing. Whereas the quality control partner is not a man who is involved in the engagement itself, he is independent of the engagement, okay? So his responsibility is more, okay? His responsibility, in fact, is more, they are saying. So the punishment which is given is the same. So they are putting them on the same path. So that's why the quality control is very, very important. And it's a challenge. It is also a challenge. Now, when do I do quality control? If a quality control, I have to do so many things, you need to give me the audited ones 2 days, 3 days before it's ready. So this is a simple practical problem, okay? So quality control cannot be just done at the end of the day. It has to be also concurrent. I think the way forward, and it's being done also, the forward is the quality control has to have, first you need to have the planning stage, sign off, and then there is a control testing. If you have done, you test the planning thing and the conclusion part. So you bifurcate the quality control in various buckets, and it needs to be done, because at the end of the audit, there won't be any time. Okay, there won't be any time. It will be a T20 match, final 2 hours, 2 hours, I don't know how many hours they will get. Okay, so they will just hit. So it will not be of much quality. So that, I think, need to be spread out. It's practical challenge, there's no doubt about it. The way the practically audits are being done, within 2 months you have to finish this audit, that audit, there are multiple audits which are there. But we need to build. We need to build a team, we need to ensure that it is being done. Okay, so the amount of work which is to be done, quality control is very, very important. Okay, so at the end of the day, I will say that we are in the right direction. The topic, it says, well, India is in the right direction. There is some sort of thing from NFRA and us as an institute. Well, these are all, in fact, good signs that we are in the right direction. Okay, each one is saying who is responsible for quality standard. Okay, institute is saying only I am responsible. Okay, NFRA is saying is I am also responsible. I am responsible. Okay, that's a good sign. Okay, these are all will be sorted out, and the way NFRA taken over the listed entities, and they are also learning. See, it will evolve. See, it has happened everywhere. Okay, if you look at PCOB and all those things, we need not resist much. We should not resist, according to me personally, resist much. You know what has happened in US? At the end of the day, PCOB started putting their own standards. We have our auditing standard, which is exactly the same what we are having here. Its international standard is followed in US also. But the PCOB said, oh, look, these things are all, I'm not happy with these things. So they have started. You won't believe, one of the things which they started with was this judgment. So what they did was, it's a very interesting story. So when this audit quality was talking about, people, all the firms said, we will put up the process. How do I ensure quality? I will put up a proper process. So the PCOB reviewed various reviews. They came back and said, look, you are following the process, but something is missing. The judgment is missing. Judgment is the key to your own full audit, your auditing standard talks about, and that's where the judgment comes from your senior most person in the assignment. Somehow the judgments are missing. So they wrote a standard which is specifically forced on judgment. So auditors should exercise judgment and this, that, and all. If you read the auditing standards itself, we have picked up something from US also. Almost every standard has got something on judgment. Okay, in fact, I did one lecture fully getting into all the judgments which are supposed to be made, and they are tricky. Judgments are tricky, okay? And it has to be done at a senior level with expertise and experience, okay? So this is what is happening.
I'll just add to what Sundaresan sir says about PCOB. Just 2 minutes of your time. It's a very interesting situation. They audited an accounting firm in Pune, in India. They had come about a year back and audited an accounting firm for some audit they had done. 3 transactions of sale, 2 transactions of purchase in the entire financial year. 3 transactions of sales, 2 transactions of purchase in the entire financial year. 12 months of salaries paid to some people. This was the audit basic. This was the financial statements basically. And they came here for inspection and asked the audit firm, can you give me your audit file? What would you give them? They said, you take my entire audit file. There are 3 sales transactions, I give you all the sales invoices. There are 2 purchases, I'll give you all the purchase invoices. There's a bank account with 12 months of salary in these 2 transactions. You take all the 12 months bank account, no need for sample checking also. You want a BRS, BRS is there. You want confirmation of balance, it is there. You can send independently. The audit file was not very thick. It was obviously only 5 transactions, not very thick. And the inspector came and asked, or the PCAP inspector came and asked the partner, where is your judgment about risk of material misstatement? That is not documented. The partner said, this is my audit file. I don't have anything. He said, no. What tests have you done? It doesn't matter that there are 3 transactions. Have you applied your mind to even think that there could be a risk of material misstatement here? And so they let him off with saying that, okay, maybe you have to improve your risk of material documentation. All. The point I'm trying to drive is that even in these cases where we tend to think that, you know what, there's only 5 transactions, nothing will happen. They are not leaving even that. They are saying that, no, you document it. It can be a half-page document. It can be this thing. What could be the risk of material misstatement? So I think we need to, as I said, we need to just probably add on to that and improve in that area.
Well, just to conclude, we are actually on the right direction. There is a lot of pressure between the regulator, the institute, and in between the members, because both of them are trying to, in fact, that is, both of them are running a thing as improve the quality. In fact, the disciplinary mechanism has become very tight, and the reviews have become very hard. Okay, well, in between, the members are caught. Okay, and it's good. Over a period, it will evolve. Over a period, it will evolve, and the quality will reach a thing. We are in the right direction, but it's a long way to go. It's not an easy thing. Like we had found the challenges of people, the challenges of pricing, which are the fundamental to put in anything, any other quality thing. The standards keep changing, okay? Implement the standards, you need to have an infrastructure, the IT infrastructure, the overhead infrastructure, then you need to educate the clients need to improve themselves, okay? So at the end of the day, you just see the auditing standard, it says it's the responsibility of the management to implement the standards, okay? Now how much, in the sense, the board of directors should be able to sign off that this is true and fair. Forget the audit. They need not wait for the audit. So I still remember when the first audit committee was formed about 3 decades back, they used to come and they told us, you are our ears and eyes and ears. So we told them, boss, it's the other way around. You are in the company. So yeah, you are in the company, inside the company. You are our ears, eyes and ears, kind of a thing. So there is a lot of collaboration. The independent auditors, over a period, they are also improving. There's a lot of things which are happening. Independent directors, people are no longer taking independent directorship so easily. They are giving up wherever they feel that there is a issue of a trust issue. And it is, auditors are resigning. Okay, I don't know whether auditors resigning is a good sign actually. And unfortunately, the regulators are taking it wrongly. The share prices go up and down, okay? And they are worried. So to me as a professional, it's a good sign. If the share price goes drastically down, that's a value the people have put on an auditor. That's a value which we are creating to the shares, okay? If the share price goes down 5–10%, that's 10% of value is because of the audit, the trust on the auditors, okay? Unfortunately, SEBI has not been sensitized to this. SEBI should not bother about the auditors and make their life miserable. They should go to the company and tell, why did the auditors resign? What is the things which you have done? Okay, invariably they come and bash us. Okay, or they say you should give the reasons, this, that, all kinds of things which they have done. Now, the auditors, they have not gone to the company and said, oh, why the auditors resigned, what is the kind of thing which you have done. They should be equally strong on that. Okay, so it is evolving, and I think there are challenges to get people. Audit is no longer a profession which is, in fact, chartered accountants, how many of chartered accountants come for audit? There is a challenge, because audit, in terms of pricing and the thing, even in the CA profession, the services which he rendered, it is not on the top. It's not on the top half, it is in the bottom half. Okay, you will get more money doing advisory services or financial advisory or consulting or IT, all those things, because people are going in that actually. So lesser people are coming in audit. There are challenges, but it is here to stay. Audit is something which you cannot do away with it. It's not easy, because as a human mind, human being, they cannot leave the human to certify themselves that they have done it true and fair. So they need an independent review to be done. So it's here. I think it's a journey. I think next 5 years we will see a lot on quality. I think it will be a lot on quality. The quality standards which are being implemented. In fact, it could make things smaller firm merging together. Like what he said, it's a difficult thing to do a smaller firm. I think audit needs a size. So the smaller firm, I personally feel the people should merge. They can continue the other services in their own small setup, but far as audit is concerned, they should have a medium-sized firm joining together, pooling their resources to get good people, to get IT infrastructure and all those things. It's at the end of the day common sense. It's not a big firm or a small firm or international firm or anything like that. At the end of the day, it's common sense and the infrastructure and what you put into the audit. I think it should happen. Over a period, it should happen. And audit for a smaller firm, it will be very difficult to do, because to have a audit cannot be done by the partner. I can do advisory stuff independently, okay, but not an audit. Audit has to have a team. It is a teamwork. So they need to have a team, so there is a need of a size, okay. So that could happen over a period. Okay, the regulators also are in the play. It's no longer a decision of the institute or members, but because the regulators are there, I think they are also giving a push to the audit quality. Like what he said, people are sensitized that NFRA is there. So NFRA is just not only for listed entities, okay? Now what they are interpreting, we cannot interpret differently. One guy, regulator has interpreted, when you are reviewing the non-listed companies, you will tend to apply the same logic, isn't it? It's logical, they will apply. Okay, so there are things which the regulator is also pushing. So I think it's in the right direction. We are in the right direction as a country. I think over a period we will be reaching there. When India is becoming a, top 3 economy, our profession also will be there on top. I don't think any problem. And it will actually open up, already opened up, things for us going everywhere else. See, auditing standard is the same. Accounting also is becoming similar, okay? So auditor mobile across international countries is on, okay? You can go and do the audit because you are doing the same way here and there, okay? So it will also open up a lot of profession. There are lots of places there are want of auditors, okay? So it will also open up once we have reached the quality and the standard which like PCOB comes and inspects in India also. They are giving the similar ratings. It's not something which is there. I think we have improved. I think all the firms which are doing the US GAAP audits have all improved. I don't think they are no longer in the bottom half. They are all on par on the topper thing over a period of time, okay? And delivering services which is to big IT companies. They are the kind of a thing there. So this is a journey. We are in the right direction, but there is quite a bit of a way to go, and we need a regular update, okay? Well, one of the things all of us were very upset. There are 400 people who have registered for this. At the end of the day, I'm very, very happy. Thank all of you to be here at the end of the day. Okay, in fact, we have finished exactly the time which we have put in there. Okay, I think there is a need of a code of conduct for CPE. There is a need of I am a specialist in code of conduct. I think there is a code of conduct needed for CPE study circle. Unless it is a rule, people will not follow. So the rules need to be very strict. We need to take attendance at the end of the sections and the beginning of the section also, okay? So that is to be done. There are things there. Huh? Documentation should be improved. No, very, very important. It's not just sign off. I think we are not using technology. So you need to have a video of the people taken at the beginning and the end. So this should be the video for which attendance should be given, kind of a thing. I think I will suggest that. I think it's not, CPA, I think it's being taken so lightly. I have seen in smaller areas, professional areas, they have so much of interest, they come. They come all the way for attending a regional conference. They have been there throughout the conference. Because I asked them why. They said, this is our chance of learning something. We can't go and read. We don't have time or we don't have resources. But we come here, people speak, something we are listening, it goes into our mind. So at least I know something which I am doing audit. Oh, I need to, when I do the audit, it's in my mind. So they think it's actually helping them out, okay? So you go to the subject, it's not compulsory for everything. You go to the subject which you are keen, okay? And not, and throughout the year you try to do that, not on the end of the year trying to make up for the CPE. I think that, if it is recorded, let it be recorded. I think it is actually need to be done. Actually, it needs to be done. I think it's not good. It's not good kind of thing. Okay, thanks a lot.
Actually, thank you all for being here. So when he said that, when Institute told me that 400 people have registered for auditing standards, I thought it should be either because of CP or because of Marriott. It can't be because of the standard. And when Rajesh told me post-lunch that there were 400 people in the morning, I said, really? And he said, at least the hall was full, he said. At least the hall was full, he said. You were in another room, yeah, exactly. That's what Rajesh was saying. But anyway, thank you so much, guys. Thank you so much. Kavita, over to you.
Thank you, all three of you, for this. It was definitely an enriching session. It's so sad that we did not have the crowd which we had. People definitely missed it, an enlightening session for all of us, missed it. So thank you, and thanks to all of you for being here. And we have a small memento I request you to accept. Rajo, can you please hand over the memento to Sundaresan, sir? To Mohan Lavi, sir. And to Mangala, ma'am. Thank you so much again, and appreciate your patience. Despite the crowd not being there, all of you took the same time and then did justice to what you had to do. Thank you so much.
But I feel that it's needed as a sort of credibility to the profession itself.
Yeah.
It will add the issue of credibility of the city itself.
Yes, definitely. Yeah.
We need something.
Sure. We were discussing that we should have the attendance later. So we'll definitely do the attendance little later in the evening.
We used to do it at the beginning and the end.
Yeah, so we'll do the same thing again now.
Unless you force people to be there, I don't think we will.
Yeah. Sure. Thank you. Thank you all, and thank you.